Hello, my name's Aidan Holland and you're listening to the British Council Conference 2014 podcast series. Today I'm with Joanna Marriott. Hi Jo.
Hi Aidan.
Would you like to introduce yourself first?
Okay, yeah. Well, as Aidan's just said, my name's Jo Marriott. I work for the British Council in Somos Aguas, where I run the primary department, which recently has been extended to mean early years as well. So we're now doing courses here for children of 3 to 4, which is really where the content for this talk has come about from.
Okay, and what's the title of the talk?
Well, it's called Evils, The Next Generation, which is a title that is just really kind of to highlight the fact that the early years has become a bit of a buzzword in ELT recently, with many more kind of academies and language learning institutions offering courses for 3 to 4 year old children.
Mm-hmm. And what's the main content of the talk going to be?
It's really about looking at how not just how we teach language to children of this age, but how we can also support the 5 key areas of early childhood development as per the early years foundation stage of the Department of Education in the UK. So it looks at what those 5 key stages of early childhood development are, and what assumptions we can make about children at that age in terms of where they are on the normative model of early childhood development, and then how we can design language learning activities that not only teach language but also support and help children develop in those 5 key areas.
Could you maybe give an example of one of those areas and how it might be used in an activity, how it might be incorporated into an activity?
Sure. I mean, if you think about something like physical development, a child at the age of 4 is on the normative model. I mean, we are talking about a normative model which doesn't apply to all children, but if we're using that as a basic guide, a child of 4 years old is able to run with ease. So doing something like a flashcard race, while it has language learning value, it's not adding anything in terms of early childhood development because they can already run. So it's looking at what your early learning goal is at that age group. So at that age they are developing hand-eye coordination. So things like throwing a ball and catching a ball, they're still quite difficult for them. So rather than doing a flashcard race to have your kinesthetic element of the class, you have a soft ball where they have to aim and throw it at the pictures, or you get them to hop to the picture rather than run to it, because those are all kind of movements that they're still mastering. So you're supporting the early childhood development in terms of their physical development, but still incorporating the kinesthetic part of the ELT methodology.
That's really incorporating kind of a holistic approach to language development.
Yeah, it's looking at what we can do to add value to not so they're not. It's not just about learning language; it's about looking at the whole child, as you said.
So, for the attendees, what would you say would be the 3 main things that attendees can take away from the session?
Okay, I think first of all, for those people that aren't familiar with the early childhood development key aspects, it will be an understanding of what those key aspects are and what assumptions you can make about where children are at the 3 to 4 kind of age range, where they are on that scale. I think then the second thing would be, an awareness of how you consider and develop activities that combine the 2 elements, both the language learning element and the early childhood development element. And then finally, looking at it in the reverse order, so how you can take typical activities from the early years foundation stage that native children will be doing in their nursery schools or preschools, how you can turn those activities into language learning opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you've clearly done a lot of background research into this area. Is there any references that you would recommend if people want to do a bit of background reading?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing to look at would be the Early Years Foundation Stage Development Matters papers, which are produced by the Department of Education, so you can access them online through the UK government website. And the non-statutory guidance for that it's a very useful document, because it tells you exactly at what age children are developing in what areas, and also then has what you can do to support that. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's for a native speaker environment, but you can take a lot of stuff out of that. Yeah. And then the other one is a book called Childhood and Education, and it's by I think the publisher is Hodder Education, and that again it's an overview of the Early Years Foundation stage in the UK, and you have to be selective reading it. It's not all relevant to our context, but it has a lot of useful information about the development stages and the development generally of children.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you for taking the time to speak to me today.
You're welcome.
And I'd just like to remind you that this year's conference will be taking place on Saturday the 27th of September at the British Council School in Somos Aguas.